Okay, so today we're going through page 243, 244, and this is going through the volume of prisms. When it says the volume of prisms that it's asking you about the study of them, and it's talking about not just rectangular anymore. Now this one has a triangle. So they're using 1/2 base times height to be able to figure out what this first right triangle is. So they did 8 times 6, then cut it in half, and they got 24. That's the base, and then you can multiply it by the height. So they multiplied 24 by 22 1/4, and that's how they got 534. So down here it says, how do you know that the right triangles are the base? And we know that they're the base because they are the same size. So we have right here, all the way along, they're the same size, and it stays in the right triangle form. So the same size and shape and parallel all the way across. So these lines are parallel all the way across. It doesn't change at all. Describe the faces of the prism that are not bases. How are they alike? How are they different? So these are the bases. So they're talking about this right here. So this is a rectangle. There's a rectangle back here, and there's a rectangle on the bottom. So we can say that they're all rectangles, but what you'll notice is they have different dimensions. This is going to be a smaller rectangle than this, and then this one will be a little bit smaller than the other one. So they may all be rectangles, but they're all going to have a different measurement or a different dimension. Okay? And then a second prism has a dimension that are half the dimensions. So what I already did was it cut everything in half. So 8 became 4, 6 became 3, 22 1/4 becomes 11 1/8. And then it says, Kathy says the volume will be half of it. So is that true? So what we were doing right here is we had all of these different numbers that we cut in half. So we had the base times height, right? So we've got 4 times 3 is 12, but you got to cut that in half, and we get 6. And then 6 becomes the base. And then you have to multiply that by the height, which is 11 1/8. So we made that into an improper fraction. So that's 89/8 times 6/1. So when we have that, we're going to do 89 times 6. We got 500, and you can see right here, we got 534 over 8 times 1 is 8. So to do 534 divided by 8, 8 goes into 53. 6 times, I almost thought 7, but that's 56. So you got 13 minus 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Bring down the 4. How many 8s go into 54? We're getting around 7, not 7 because that'd be 56, so 6. So we got 66, got another one. All right, so we're around 66. So let's see, is 66 half of 534? So as we look on here, the volume it's really like a lot less. And what we realize is that it's about 8 times as much if we want to get to 534. 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, yeah. It's 8 times as much. So it's not a half, it's 1/8. So I do not agree. No, I don't agree because it is 1/8 of the volume. Okay. And we're going back on the other side of 244. What is the volume of the prism shown? Show all your work. So this means we have to find the base. Here's our base right here. So we're doing our normal triangle formula, 1/2 base times height. That base times height means we're doing 3.2 times 2.5. Ooh, we get 8. So this base times height was 8. You have to cut 8 in half. So half of 8 equals 4. So now I know that this is going to be 4, and I want you to do base times height. So then I'm going to do 4 times 8, which equals 32. So the volume is 32, and remember, if you're multiplying 3 times, you say cubic, and then you have to see what they were measuring by, meters. So 32 cubic meters, okay? A pentagonal prism is shown. The volume of the prism is 91.8, and that's the cubic inches. So they give you the height. If the height is 10.8, and the volume of everything, so remember 1/2 base times height, we don't know, but then they want to multiply it by 10.8 equals 91.8 in the end. So they give us this formula basically. And we're trying to figure out, this is our x, right? This is the x. So if we were to rewrite it, we'd say 10.8x, we don't know what you are, equals 91.8. Now, if you were to look at that, you've already learned how to do that. So you know that you do it, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So you divide both sides by 10.8. For this, we can use our calculator. 91.8 divided by 10.8 equals 8.5. So 1/2 base times height equals 8.5. And they want to know what is the area of each base. So because we've gone through and done this and figured out it was 8.5, that means the area of every base is 8.5. Because this is 1/2 base times height. It's the actual base. So equals 8.5 inches, which is the area of each base. All right. A store sells 2 types of tiny crystals. One of the crystals is a triangular prism with these dimensions right here. Okay. The other is shaped like a rectangular prism with a length. Okay, so we've got length here. We're going to have another triangular prism. I love drawing these. Feel so good at drawing these. And then the other one has a length of 26 millimeters with a width of 8.5 and a height of 7. So this is a height of 7, width of 8.5. Alice says the volume of the rectangular crystal is 2 times the triangular. Oh, it was rectangular, so why does mine not look rectangular? All right, rectangle. Here we go. Perfect. So it says this one is 2 times this one. So we got to figure out both. All right, let's start with this one. Got to multiply 6.5 times 8. We got 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. We get 52, but you got to cut it in half. 52 divided by 2 equals 26. So we've got 26 times 25.4. Going to use our calculator for that. So 26 times 25.4 equals 660.4. 660.4. 660.4, this has to be 2 times that. So let's see if that happens. The nice thing is that we don't have to cut it in half. We can just do length times width. 26 times 8.5. That's 221 millimeters. Let's remember that they're the same unit, which is really good for us. And then multiply that by 7, because that's the height. 7, 14, 15. So now we've got these two, and I have to see if this is double that. So 660.4 times 2 is around 1320. So based on that, is that it's around the same. So because it's so close, because double would be 1320, then I would say is greater than 2 times the volume. Yeah, they said is greater than. So yeah, it is greater than 2 times. she says the volume of the rectangular crystal is greater than 2 times the volume of the triangle. Yeah, it's because this is the volume of 2 times the triangle, and this is the other one. It's definitely greater. Okay, Alice is correct. All right, last one on page 244. Use the diagram at the right to write a formula in terms of base and height and length. So we're just using what we've learned from this right here. And what we had to do was 1/2 base times height and then multiply it again by what they are calling this length. So it would be 1/2 base times height, and then you also have to multiply by the length. So they're giving you these formulas that typically you would have to memorize, but now they're telling you how this works, okay? But if you want to just memorize it, anytime you have to do a triangular prism, you're going to do 1/2 base times height times length. All right, and that's going to be it for page 244.